All right, guys, we're back here on Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel. We're previewing the matchup on Saturday. Get my days right there, Max. Got a lot of games
Yep.
this weekend in SEC basketball. Saturday, 7 p.m. Central on ESPN at Bridgestone Arena. It's the Tennessee Vols and the Illinois Fighting Illini Max Barr. Big game coming up between the two orange teams. They're going to face off 2.5-point favorite Tennessee over at FanDuel. The over-under set at 151.5. Big matchup for these two top 15 teams here.
Big one. Big one it might even be bigger than a big one. Might be a huge one. Both of these teams could use this after the past few big games have not gone their way. Blake, when we look at some early VSiN data, this is early, guys. This is early, so it might change. But Tennessee at -2.5, they're catching 63% of bets and 64% of the handles. So, Blake, the public is in agreement. There's a slight lean towards the Vols. Could just be playing a little bit closer to home there in Bridgestone.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of orange there. Jokes aside, like there will be a lot of Tennessee fans in the building. I'm gonna assume you're gonna get a nice little Illinois crowd as well, coming down,
Sure.
maybe for a little Broadway experience in the Music City. But as you said, these are two teams that are kind of trying to find their way in some of these bigger games. Tennessee has the bigger win at this point. They beat Houston out there in Vegas 76-73 a couple days before Thanksgiving. Then turn around, lost the game by 5 to Kansas without Peterson. Then they go on the road, disappointing 2-point loss at Syracuse. Meanwhile, as you said, Illinois coming off the loss to UConn. They lost that game, close one to Alabama. Do have the win over Texas Tech back on November the 11th. But, I mean, I think for me, where we start as the SEC channel, I think we're going to just start in what is probably going to be a theme this season, unfortunately, and it's been a theme in past seasons, and I think it's just what are you going to get offensively out of Tennessee here? It's a team that, has turned the ball over a bit, has struggled to make shots consistently. They're big two at times, in Jacoby Gillespie and Nate Ament. We've really talked about the Ament thing in terms of just the percentages, especially the 2-point percentages and the plays at the rim and those kind of things really struggled with right now. And you're going up against, an Illinois team that still pretty good defensive team, got a ton of size when you look at kind of the front line that they're going to sport. So I think that begs the question here to me, is Tennessee going to get the shots they want to get? And is it going to come out of running true offense versus some of these one-on-one type scenarios that we've seen so far that it seems like, for Amon especially, that has not been the best approach for Tennessee to kind of have that consistent scoring production?
Well, Blake, they're going to need to in this game because we're probably going to be without JP Estrella. Coach Gainey gave an update on JP. JP did not practice on Thursday. Gainey said, this is a quote, "No update to this point. He's kind of day to day. Although he didn't practice on Thursday, he's in great spirits, very vocal in practice, and is moving around a little bit. So we'll see." That doesn't sound too encouraging to me, but didn't rule him out. So I wouldn't expect it, though. I wouldn't expect JP. And then Cade Phillips as well is playing through a little bit more of a shoulder injury than I think we originally thought. Gainey also said on Cade, quote, "I think it's something that's kind of lingering for him. I think it's going to get better, but he's still limited in some things that he can and can't do." So Cade Phillips is also a bit hindered right now. So Blake, the reason I bring that up is why were we so high on this Tennessee team? That front court depth, that just going to come in waves, and through the 40 minutes, you're not going to get 1 minute where you can rest as an opponent front court. Well, you might be able to now a little bit with JP out and Cade not at 100%.
Well, and to take it a step further, Felix Akpara has not had a couple good games back to back. Jalen Carey has stepped up, and I think we were talking about earlier in the season. We're like, hey, we thought this could be his role, but he's had 2 very good performances in back-to-back games. Had 22 in the game against Syracuse, 9 rebounds, 11 and 10, and 4 assists against Kansas. Those were both losses, but good performances, also played well against Houston. So I think that's the thing. Like you said, if no Estrella, Phillips maybe not 100%. We got TBD on that one. Okpara's got to get back on track. That could, that could have been something where you're like, hey, all right, you feel confident in Tennessee's ability here to kind of see how this plays out. But right now, it's a less than full strength Tennessee front court going up against, a team that, like I said, has got a ton of size. And you look at kind of just the way this Illinois team can beat you. I think and I don't think I'm going out on a limb here to say, like, you feel pretty confident that the way Tennessee's going to beat you right now is either Jacoby Gillespie or Nate Amon. Illinois' got a lot of guys who can beat you. And, what is it? They've got 5 guys averaging between 11 and 17 points. Humrickus, I think, is averaging 8. I mean, Big Z's averaging 7. Like, you go up and down the line here. I think that's the thing, and that's where Tennessee's strength still defensively. But Illinois, with Stojakovic and those guys, they got a lot of ways they can beat you here. And so you're going to need that sort of vintage Tennessee defensive performance to have a chance, I think, to win this game, knowing this does feel like one of those games where you could have some offensive deficiencies a bit.
Yeah, speaking about the Illinois offense, the way that their shot creation has been so far, I do think there is an angle here that the Tennessee defense could be in an advantageous matchup. Illinois, their team assist rate, assists per field goals made, they're 310th nationally. Been a lot of one-on-one, a lot of Stojakovic one-on-one, a lot of Mirkovic. There's the highest assist rate for Illinois is Boswell right now at 19.9%. Petrovic hasn't played enough minutes to get ranked nationally, but he is a good amount higher. But Blake Petrovic, as good as he is, he's one of those internationals adjusting. He's struggled with turnovers. As high as Petrovic's assist rate is, he's got a super high turnover rate to go with it. So I do think, not at home, if the shots aren't falling for Illinois, this is an Illinois offense that has just resorted to go make a one-on-one play. And this is a Tennessee defense that could eat that up.
Well, Illinois has also been good at getting offensive rebounds, which shouldn't be a big surprise with their size. Guess who else has been good at getting offensive rebounds? Tennessee. But Illinois has been their top 10 in the country in terms of limiting those. So that's another angle here where it's like, if the shots aren't falling for Tennessee, and by that I specifically mean if you have Gillespie or Amon off, one or the other, because I think right now with the way they're constructed without Estrella, they need both those guys on to feel pretty good about their chances in these kind of games, right? I mean, I think that's probably the best way to put it. Now, I say that. Amon didn't have his best game against Houston, but that's where you had a Jalen Carey step up. Bishop Boswell had 10 in that game. So this is going to be one of those where it's going to take more than just those two. But I think this is the kind of matchup where you got to have those guys doing their thing. But if you're missing shots because you're playing a team where, again, I think that will challenge them a little bit defensively, you got to be able to get those second chance opportunities. And if those don't come, then, I don't know. Like that could be worrisome here if you're just relying on Tennessee scoring in half-court offense. That could be a little problematic too, potentially.
I'm glad you brought that up because I'm going to dig slightly deeper into that. The rebounding battle here. Tennessee was number 1 in the country in offensive rebounding rate for the first few weeks of the season. But when you look at their last 2 games against Kansas, just 30.8%. Against Syracuse, just 34.2%. In their first 7 games, they had at least 41% in 6 of them. So they were just killing them.
Well, one of the biggest reasons because of Estrella. And
yes.
Yeah.
That is a huge factor in this game. When you look at Tennessee's offensive efficiency as a team, like the past 2 games with these low offensive rebound rate, 2 out of the 3 worst offensive efficiency performances for Tennessee. They need to grab extra opportunities. And with Phillips being less than 100%, with JP Estrella probably not playing, it's less than ideal when you're facing a front court in Illinois that is top 10 nationally in limiting opponent offensive rebounds.
All right. Picks for this one.
Illinois. I'm going Illinois. Here's the thing. If you want a Vols angle, on this, because a lot of the matchup stuff that we've been talking about, it doesn't set up well, especially without JP. If JP was healthy, I have a completely different tone on this entire game. But if you do want a Vols angle, this is an Illinois team that has not won away from home yet this year.
Mm-hmm.
They played the semi-home against Alabama. They lost that. Played the semi-away against UConn, lost that kind of badly. So you do have a team that has struggled to win away from Champaign. So there's an angle you have, and that's more important in early December. Blake, you see some of these teams go away from home in a game they should win. It doesn't happen. That's college basketball. So you do have the Vols angle there, but man, just Illinois' top 3 in the nation in defensive free throw rate. They're not putting you on the line. They're grabbing defensive boards. They've got depth. I do see the angle where they get a little one-on-one happy that can play into this Vols defense. But man, too much lead in Illinois' favor for me. I'm gonna go Illini.
That Tennessee performance against Syracuse just really it boggled the mind a little bit. Not that we should say it was shocking, because I don't think it was a shocking loss, but it's just kind of, it does make you reset, I think, your expectations a little bit. Even though it's a road game, you're playing a clearly improved Syracuse team, but you know, I know Tennessee's again missing a key piece in Estrella, but I don't know, man. That's just like one of those games. It's hard to get out of your brain.
Yeah.
On the flip side of that, like, Illinois does not turn people over at all. Tennessee has had some issues turning the ball over, so I think they're going to have their chances to get good shots. But I do worry that those shots are going to fall right now. And I think that's the biggest question. If they don't fall, can they get enough second chance opportunities to make it happen? I'm with you. I think I'm going to pick Illinois here. And I mean, look, as always, usually I come into this not knowing who I'm going to pick in these kind of games. But when in doubt, go with the Southeastern 16 KOD and see if we can make some magic happen. Although this year it's not really working out too well. So I guess I'll go Illini too. To our Tennessee fans, Josh, and everyone else, maybe this is us doing you a favor. Did we both pick Illinois against Alabama? I don't remember.
I don't think so. I know I picked Alabama in that.
Well, I don't remember who I picked. I don't know. We'll see if we can work some magic here. The traditional Southeastern 16 KOD in effect, but I'm not sure about this one. I just think I don't think Tennessee's bad. I don't think we just all of a sudden call them a bad team because they lost at Syracuse.
Oh.
But I think it's perfectly reasonable to wonder offensively how the output looks in this game, because I don't have a great feel for that. So
if JP plays, wipe this entire preview out. I'd switch my pick.
There you go. If he plays, I'm swapping my pick to Tennessee.
Yeah.
But again, I think with the front court right now, you mentioned Phillips, like Akpara's not played well the past couple. Carey has, and I think, what happens though if he doesn't have a great, there's a lot of unknown variables here.
Yeah.
Tennessee at full strength, I'd pick him with this one, but I just, without Estrella, he has been such a big part of this thing. I don't know if I can. So if he does play, give me the Vols.
Yep.
All right. Check out our friends, the Yearly Company, Nashville-based fine jewelry. If you're a Tennessee fan or an Illinois fan and you're in Nashville, check out the Nashville-based fine jewelry. Yearly Company, built on tradition, designed for meaning, solid 14-karat gold, natural gemstones, backed by a lifetime guarantee. Every Yearly Company bangle, custom size. Knowing your size, the most important step, they're going to give you a complimentary sizing kit. Use the code SC16KIT, SC16KIT at checkout. 100% off over at the Yearly Company. And our friends at ROKFORM, ROKFORM.com, the world's strongest magnetic phone case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting. No rock lock for this game. I don't have any confidence in this pick.
No.
So, not at all. Check them out. Get 25% off over at ROKFORM, SEC25, SEC25. 25% off over at ROKFORM.com. All right, as always, score predictions in the comments, Tennessee fans. Tell us why we're wrong. I mean, we're always wrong, but just give us a score prediction. Tell us what you think about this game. Are you nervous about the offense here? What do you think about the matchup? Are you picking the Vols? Are you going to go Southeastern 16 KOD2, pick against them, a little reverse mojo? Wink, wink. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Leave us your predictions in the comments. We appreciate you guys watching. As always, we'll talk to you soon here at Southeastern 16, presented by Fan.